to our other top story, the showdown with Iran. President Trump is weighing a possible attack on Iranian nuclear facilities, saying he'll make a decision within the next 2 weeks, but indicating that a diplomatic solution is still on the table. Let's go to our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce, for more. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Rebecca. Well, the president has now given himself a 2-week deadline to make this high-stakes decision whether to strike Iran. We are told he's hoping this gives the Iranians, quote, time to come to their senses and come back to the negotiating table. The big question now, what happens if they don't? This morning, as Israel and Iran trade fierce blows, and after weighing his options over several tense days, President Trump is now giving himself 2 weeks to decide whether the U.S. should strike Iran. The president holding out hope for negotiations as European leaders meet in Geneva today with the Iranians to try and jumpstart talks. I asked the press secretary if there's no progress in the next 2 weeks, does that mean the U.S. will bomb Iran?
Is he saying that if Iran does not come back to the negotiating table within the next 2 weeks, that the president will strike?
The president is saying that he will make a decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. It's very clear and direct.
Is he seeing any inklings of progress that give him that hope that talks are still possible?
Well, that's why he said in the statement that I just read for all of you, based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, he will make that decision within the next 2 weeks.
What makes him think there's still a substantial chance?
I'm not going to get into the reasoning and the rationale. The president believes that, but that's his position, and he will make a decision within the next 2 weeks.
But the pressure to make up his mind only growing. According to a source, the president is troubled by the deep divisions in his own party about what he should do, hold out for negotiations or join the attack. One key advisor who's been urging restraint, Steve Bannon, spotted at the White House yesterday shortly after posting this clip.
Netanyahu, just finish what you started.
One source telling ABC News Trump is trying to psych himself up, convince himself that whatever he ultimately decides to do is warranted. The president's new 2-week timeline, a blow to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has been pushing for the U.S. to get involved. Only the U.S. has the 30,000-pound bunker buster bomb capable of penetrating Iran's nuclear site 300 feet underground. It's never been used on the battlefield, and there are concerns about how effective it would be. Netanyahu now publicly putting his trust in Trump to make what he says is the right choice. Now, sources tell ABC News that a key issue weighing on the president's decision here is how much time it will take for additional U.S. military assets to arrive in the region to defend American interests if needed. And that could take several more days. Whit.
Mary Bruce for us, thank you.